Good morning. I'm the Reverend Denise Gouch. My pronouns are she, her, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to worship with the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashville. Our projectionist this morning is Debrina Dills. As Unitarian Universalists, our spiritual paths vary, but in this congregation, we have made a covenant together. We affirm our interdependence, celebrate our differences, and work for justice. We are a welcoming congregation, and we deepen our relationships as we serve our congregation's mission to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values in the broader world, guided by reason and compassion. I'd like to extend a special welcome to visitors worshiping with us this morning. If you are seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you may find it here. If you have questions about our congregation, please be in touch with me. You can find my email address in the staff directory under Contact Us on our website, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you are with us for the live broadcast of this service on Zoom, you may wish to experiment with the view settings at the upper right corner of your screen. And won't you please say hello in the chat? We love knowing who's here. No matter what platform you're using to join us for worship, you can find helpful information like ways to give, faith development resources for all ages, and more in the worship portal on our website, firstuunash.org. We are so glad you're joining us for worship.
Good morning. My name is Melanie. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm filling in for Jade this morning. Please join me in singing hymn number 389, Gathered Here. If you'd like to sing it as a round or to know the sign language, please feel free to do so. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Hackett. My pronouns are she and her, and I serve as a member of the Children's Religious Education Committee member here at FUN, as well as the co-chair of the Committee for the Larger Faith. And I'm a candidate for UU Ministry. I'm delighted to be with you today. The words for the call to worship were written by Marta Valentin. We come together today to honor the universal community of seekers to which we all belong. We gather today to share from our deepest place of safety, that we might nurture ourselves by celebrating one another. We call into presence this hour our ancestors, whose love and labor and commitment made it possible for us to be here now. Let us call one another to the table of abundance, that we may feed on those fruits that sustain us and ever ask us to grow. Let us open to this moment with hearts that have no borders. The words for our chalice lighting today were written by Bets Winnicky. May this flame, symbol of transformation since time began, fire our curiosity, strengthen our wills, and sustain our courage as we seek what is good within and around us.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Diane Daugert, Developmental Lead Minister here at the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashville. My pronouns are she, her. I have a story to share with you this morning. It was written by Janine Grossmeyer and is titled Chalice of Learning, Flame of Love. People have always known that fire was special. Long, long ago, before people made matches or candles, or even made houses, people knew fire was special. There was a great fire in the sky, the sun, which made the earth warm and made night into day. And there were smaller fires people made, fires that cooked their food and kept them warm and brought them light. People honored the fires because fire was special. Fire was more than human. Fire has power. It can create and it can destroy. It can bring light and it can burn. It can create and it can destroy. Fire can be wonderful and fire can be terrible. We have to be careful with fire. And so people thought that fire was something sacred and holy. Some people even worshiped fire and said that fire was a deity, like a goddess or a god. Other people said that fire wasn't actually the deity, but it just meant that the deity was there. No matter what they believed, people all over the world gave fire a special place in their religions. They had fire in their homes, of course, to cook food and keep warm. And they also had fires in their sacred temples. They set sacred lamps on their altars. They lit sacred bonfires outside on hilltops and in groves. They placed sacred torches near the graves of those who died. We still do this today. In Washington, D.C., near the tomb of the unknown soldier, burns an eternal flame that never goes out. In churches at Christmas time, many Christians light 4 candles on an Advent wreath. During the 8 days of Hanukkah, Jews light the 8 candles of the menorah. At Diwali, Hindus set small lamps all around the house. And when Unitarian Universalists gather, we light a chalice. The flame gives light and warmth just like all fires. It's also a symbol, something we use to represent the light of learning. The chalice is a symbol too. A chalice is really just a big cup you can drink from. When you're thirsty, the nicest thing you can do is have someone to give you something to drink. Giving drink to someone else is a way of welcoming them to your house. In a way, it means you're part of the same family, just like everyone here is part of the same family, the Unitarian Universalist family. The picture of the flame in a chalice was first drawn by a man named Hans Deutsch during World War II for the Unitarian Service Committee. During the war, the committee needed a symbol to show refugees from many different countries that they were there to help them. When refugees saw the picture of the flame in the chalice, it didn't matter what language they spoke. They understood that the symbol stood for help. Unitarian Universalists started using the flaming chalice in their worship services after that. Just like the sacred fires, people have used chalices in their religions for thousands and thousands of years. Long ago, the Greeks and Romans put wine in their chalices. Other people have put blood or water or milk or even melted butter in their chalices. The Celts believed that drinking from the cauldron of the goddess Cerwydden would bring people back to life. Jesus shared a cup of wine with his friends. Many Christians still do this in religious celebrations today. We Unitarian Universalists don't drink from our chalice. Instead, we use it to hold the flame. The circle of the chalice helps keep the fire small. The flame doesn't blind us. It doesn't burn us. It gives us light so we can see all the different things in the universe, even the invisible ones, because the Unitarian Universalist flame is a light of learning. The circle of our family keeps us warm, both our family at home and our Unitarian Universalist family. We help each other, and we share food and drink with each other, and we take care of each other, because that's what families are supposed to do. And we invite everyone to become part of our family, because the Unitarian Universalist chalice is a chalice of love. The flaming chalice is a symbol of learning and of love. It is our symbol, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. And here ends our story.
Thank you. What a great opportunity to think about who we are to each other. And in this season of virtual offering bowls, we are especially grateful for your steady generosity. It allows us to continue creating community, nurturing spiritual growth, and acting on our values together, both within and beyond the congregation. You may know that we share every Sunday's collection with an organization whose work outside our walls aligns with our values. Our Share the Plate partner for the month of April is the Safe Haven Family Shelter, about whose work you can learn more in the worship portal on our website, firstuunash.org. You can also find the link to our online donation form there. As always, your gifts, like your presence among us, are received with gratitude. Oh, that was beautiful. For this morning's pastoral prayer, I'd like to invite you into a responsive prayer that was written by Michael DeVernon Boblet. Your part of the prayer will be to respond, "We are not alone." And every time it's our turn to respond together, I will do like this, so you know it's your turn. So just in your own spaces and knowing we are all in our own spaces participating in this prayer, let us enter into a moment of reflecting on who we are together. We are not alone. We are the flame, ancient as the stars, new as the vulnerable spark. We are not alone. We are the chalice rimmed by the spiral dance of searching. We
are not alone.
We are the light soaring, the shadow deepening, the dance between them. We are not alone. We are the heirs of the tribes and their fires, the healers and their circles. We are not alone. We are here. We are here for ourselves. We are here for each other. And we are not alone.
Thank you, Denise. I think in these days we need that reminder more often that we are not alone. The title for my sermon today is The Chalice Fire of Transformation. The flaming chalice is a powerful symbol. What began as a simple line drawing on a letterhead, a logo used to identify the Unitarian Service Committee as a religious organization doing relief work during World War II, has become not just a symbol, but part of an enduring ritual for Unitarian Universalists. Like all symbols, the flaming chalice is a concrete object that points to a transcendent reality. As such, it's become imbued with many different meanings over time, like a piece of art or poetry. Each viewer and each listener will see or hear something slightly different and make their own interpretation of what it means. For me, the chalice represents the cup of community freely offered. It represents a break from traditions of those who placed limits on who could partake of the communion sacraments and limited the communion chalice to priests. Unitarian Universalism is open to all who are willing to make community with us in the spirit of covenant. Ours is a shared ministry among clergy and laity, or in more traditional language, the priesthood and prophethood of all believers. For me, the flame represents the spark of the divine in every human person. It represents that we are all made of stardust. Put the two together, the chalice and the flame, and there is one powerful symbol. More like a crucible, a place of alchemy. A crucible, in its literal sense, is a metal or ceramic container in which metals or other substances can be melted or subjected to very high temperatures. Metaphorically speaking, a crucible is a situation or severe trial, or in which different elements interact, leading to the creation of something new. It was vicariously that I learned something of the alchemy of combining elements and heating them to extreme temperatures to make something new. My husband, AJ, spent 20 years of his working life operating a glass furnace. The process included unloading train cars of sand, soda ash, limestone, and used glass, and putting them into a furnace heated to 2,800 degrees Fahrenheit. The molten materials were then forced through a small opening, releasing a small gob, and yes, gob is a technical term, released a small gob that was then molded into a bottle. A good deal of AJ's time was spent behind a computer, monitoring the temperature, the gas pressure, and the flow of raw materials. It was only when something malfunctioned or when a furnace was due for routine maintenance that he donned a very heavy heat protective suit to work on one of the furnaces. I always knew when it had been one of those days when he came home with singed eyebrows. And as an aside, next time you're enjoying a bottle of beer, take a moment to think of all of those who labored to make that bottle. Actually, it can be a transformational practice to do that with every manufactured product that comes into your home, but that's another sermon for another day. We live at a time when the whole world is in a situation of severe trial. A global pandemic alone would be trial enough. Add in the struggle to free ourselves, each other, and the earth itself from oppression in all its forms. a time when the forces of alchemy are at play, and it can feel like being in the fire. Fire is a powerful symbol of transformation, turning wood or candle wick into flame and smoke and ash. Fire has the power to make heat and light. It has the power to turn solids into liquids. It has the power to burn and destroy. During these trying times, the chalice of our faith can be a crucible, a container for the potent forces that are working to change and transform us. Having a safe enough container makes it possible that we will emerge from this time of trial, having experienced what psychologists refer to as post-traumatic growth, which is a positive psychological change that comes as a result of adversity, rising to a higher level of functioning. Psychologists look to 5 indicators that post-traumatic growth has occurred: appreciation of life, relationships with others, new possibilities in life, personal strength, and spiritual change. Not everyone who goes through adversity and trauma will experience post-traumatic growth. These days, I think it's safe to say that everyone alive has experienced trauma, some more so than others, some exponentially so, but still, we all have some degree of post-traumatic stress. Given this, we would be wise to keep it in mind in our daily interactions with other people. It's as the proverb says, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. We all live with a history of trauma. Some will go on to live in a chronic state of post-traumatic stress. Some will bounce back and easily return to their previous level of functioning. And some will experience growth and personal transformation. While the field of study around post-traumatic growth is still emerging, what's currently seen as a common factor in whether or not someone will experience post-traumatic growth is the degree to which they struggle in the process. Last Sunday, we used the butterfly as another powerful symbol for transformation, that the metamorphosis of the caterpillar that breaks down into a gooey substance before transforming into a butterfly. Struggling to free itself from the chrysalis is the final stage of the transformation. The struggle is what strengthens the wings for flight. The chalice of our Unitarian Universalist faith can be a crucible, a safe enough container for the forces of alchemy working in our lives. It is our covenant with each other that forms the container of community, the crucible of our transformation. A covenant is a promise of how we will be together and for what purpose. The covenant of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashville is this. It's actually part of your bylaws. We gather in safe and compassionate community, seeking our spiritual truths. We affirm our interdependence, celebrate our differences, and create a thoughtful, harmonious voice for liberal religion. Through the practice of the principles of our faith, we promote social, economic, and environmental justice and continue our legacy of respect, and acceptance. We covenant together in the spirit of love and freedom. In this time of trial, when our daily lives are shaped by forces beyond our control, it is to this covenant, this safe community, this safe container of community, that we bring the raw material of our lives. We place within this container, this sacred crucible, we place our loss and grief, pain and sorrow, fear and struggle, failure and confession, lament and forgiveness, knowing the bonds of community are strong enough to hold it all, knowing that here we will be met with an invitation to grace and unconditional positive regard. We add to the mix our joy and celebration. Then we let the fire of transformation do its work. Though we may get uncomfortably hot and our eyebrows may get singed, if we give ourselves over to the process, we will feel our spines stiffen and our muscles grow strong for the task of rising to meet both the challenge and the promise that life presents. From the fire, we just might emerge to rise as something greater than the sum of our parts, a beloved community of seekers, where the cup of community is freely offered to all, where we recognize the divine spark in each and every one of us. May we keep the chalice fire burning in our lives and in the world. Amen, and blessed be.
Good morning again. Please join me in singing hymn number 1020, Wo Ya Ya, written by Osibisa, a Ghanaian Afro rock band in 1971. If you'd like to sing harmony, this is a great time to try it out because we can't hear yet. So go crazy, sing solo. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within. And we will get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We're going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within. And we will get there, heaven knows how we will get there, and we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 yeah, yeah.
The words to our chalice extinguishing were written by Elizabeth Sell Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
My friends, there is power in the struggle, miracle in the mystery, and promise in the journey. May we rise with the grace of growth, to meet a new day, transformed by the chalice fire of love. This service has ended. May our service to the world continue. Go in peace, go in love.